Hey guys, this is Melanie Hinds, your fastest Iraqi dinar summary on the net. How are you? I hope you will subscribe and tap the bell. Listen, last night on my Margaritas and Manifestations, we talked about what Nader broke yesterday afternoon about removing zeros from the dinar. So yesterday, while I was live, somebody sent me the actual article that did come out after Nader broke it. So I give Nader the credit. Here is the article that came out last night that I did discuss on my live stream, so I go there and discuss it. Now, this article on Baghdad Today News, you see that headline? Baghdad Today News, said it this way. Gold reserves reached 170 tons with intention to remove zeros from dinar. They put it in the title to get clicks, right? Some people do that. They've accused me of doing that. I don't do that, but sometimes my AI maybe does, the software I use for my shorts. It says the Central Bank of Iraq announced on Tuesday, October 14th, its gold reserves and its intention to remove zeros from the Iraqi currency. Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Amar Khalif, said in a press statement, followed by Baghdad Today, that the Central Bank of Iraq has increased its gold holdings from 90 tons to 170 tons at the present time. He added, in quotes, this amount of gold now constitutes 20% of the total assets, and Iraq currently ranks 4th in the Arab world in gold holdings and 29th globally. Then it said the deputy governor of the central bank confirmed that there is no intention to float the Iraqi dinar exchange rate so as to not affect the stability of the economy at the present time. But then he revealed there is an intention to remove zeros from the Iraqi currency. So this is where it's coming from. Nader broke it. He said the article would be coming out the next day. It came out that evening. And so we talked about it on my live stream last night, what that means, if it's going to come off the exchange rate. Then this morning, I went and looked. There was an article last night from a different guy, the guy who's the Salih guy, the real guy, the head of the, well, whatever. Anyways, this is this article. Again, it talks about Iraq boosts gold. It's got that guy on the cover. Now, this is Shafaq News out of Baghdad. The title was Iraq boosts gold reserves as global prices hit record high. Nowhere in this article did they say removing zeros and not floating it. Okay, so I'm going to read you this article just to clarify. Iraq has increased its gold holdings, now accounting for nearly 15% of its foreign reserves as global prices climb past 4,000 per ounce amid geopolitical tensions and waning confidence in the U.S. dollar. Prime Minister's advisor, Madir Mohammed Salih, told the news agency on Tuesday that the strategy is a precautionary hedge against currency risks. Gold remains the most reliable store of value in unstable times, he said. Salih added that Iraq's diversification policy follows international standards and strengthens long-term monetary stability. Domestically, he talked about the rates of 21 karat gold, what it is in Baghdad and Erbil. Then he said the rally reflects surging global demand as conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East and East Asia push investors and central banks towards bullion, gold bullion, right? It's normal. Everybody thinks gold is the best store of value in uncertain times. And he says that. And then he said in August, central banks added 19 tons to their reserves, led by China's 300-ton gold purchases in 2024 to cut dollar exposure according to the World Gold Council. That was all he said. So in this article, the same time, the same day, reported by Shafaq News, there was no mention of deleting zeros off the currency or not floating. So what does that mean? We wait to find out. We wait and see. I just wanted to show you the difference between the two different ways we got this. Okay, so then the next article today, haven't you noticed the last few days, all they talk about is oil prices going up and down, gold prices. And then this article this morning says Iraq was second among the OPEC producers in September. Iraq ranked as the second largest oil producer in OPEC for September 2025, according to the organization's monthly report released on today, on Wednesday. The report placed Saudi Arabia at the top with production of 9.96 million barrels per day, followed by Iraq with 4.066 million barrels per day, and the United Arab Emirates third. Iraq is number 2. Okay, so that was just reported today. Also, Iraq's financial confidence. There was an article saying Iraq's financial confidence wavers under the new U.S. sanctions. Now, in this article, again, a little murky. They talk about the fact, and I'll read it to you, the fresh round of U.S. sanctions on Iraqi entities has undermined confidence in the country's banking institutions. A senior financial expert revealed, they didn't even say the name, on Wednesday. As part of a steadily expanding wave of U.S. measures over the past 2 years targeting Iraq's banking sector, the U.S. Department of Treasury last week imposed new restrictions on Al Mohandes General Company, the economic arm of the PMF, the Popular Mobilization Forces, along with several prominent bankers and firms accused of facilitating transactions for Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and its Iraqi ally, Kataib Hezbollah. So you can read more about that, but what I'm saying is Mahmoud Dagger, a former director of the CBI, explained that although the sanctions' direct impact is limited, including a state-owned company in the list, may rattle investors and disrupt financial stability. Without this confidence, the economy becomes unstable, he warned, predicting that further rounds of U.S. sanctions are likely. Analysts, meanwhile, go beyond the financial dimension, viewing the new restrictions as part of a broader pattern of political and security pressure. So isn't it funny these articles are coming forward now, creating instability when it's an election season? October 11th, they could start, promoting themselves to be elected, and the election is actually November 11th. Now let's go to everybody else, because I wanted to bring you, those are the articles I could find. Those are the articles I read myself. I tend to do my own research. So then we go to everybody else. As of today, it's 1:32. We pull it up, and it says this. Let's see what everybody else says. Probably all going to be talking about the 3 zeros. But I give Nader the credit because he's the first one who said it. I watched his video. It was 8 minutes yesterday. Claire says, article, central bank gold reserves reach 170 tons. That's the same article I was reading from. Quote, the deputy governor of the central bank confirmed there was no intention to float the Iraqi dinar exchange rate so as to not affect the stability of the economy at this present time. Did you hear me say that? Back it up and listen again. I didn't say that in the Shafak News article. It didn't say that, but in the other article it did. No intention to float the Iraqi dinar rate so as to not affect the stability of the economy at the present time. That was from the other article that was emailed to me, that I've never even seen that newspaper, right? So now Frank 26 says the HCL will require a new exchange rate by your constitution. If that was not true, you would have the HCL at 1310 years ago. Exactly. Realize that it may seem slow to you, but it's super hot and it is super hot. And there's some misinformation. They did this with Kuwait. They acted like it wasn't going to happen. And that was not Shafak News that said it. It was this other, which I always listen to Shafak News. It was this other paper that somebody emailed me, creating doubt, confusion. They're not going to do it. Well, guys, that's good news. Why? Because they said the same thing about Kuwait the night before. They revalued Kuwait. So Frank is saying it's hot. I agree. Everybody thinks it's hot. What did Mark Z say? It enhances the value of dinar. Iraq achieves the highest percentage of gold reserves for the first time in history because gold is over I think it got as high as 4,100 an ounce. 4,100 an ounce. There are many articles out on gold. Article, Iraqi gold reserves reach record level and strength since the dinar. They are showing right now that at least 25% of their currency is backed by gold. See, Mark didn't touch that because why? It was only in one article. It wasn't in all the articles, and it wasn't in the official articles coming out of Iraq. So who do you trust? Do you trust the article that's making the rounds through the email that maybe other people are talking about? Guys, there's so much misinformation right now. Be careful what sources you listen to. And then Claire talks about the central bank begins the actual implementation of the comprehensive banking reform project. This is their banking reform. The digital dinar that runs their handy-dandy banking system that before we got to this close of a time for it to revalue was saying, oh, it's the best banking system in the world. It's the first one of its kind because it is. It's digital. The digital dinar was 142. Not in terms of USD, just in terms of itself. 142 on the digital thing. I shared it on my live stream this morning. You can go watch that. I shared all my insights about the banks, about how this works. You should go check out my live stream. It says, So it says the primary objective is to build a sound, modern, comprehensive, and flexible banking sector that will drive rapid growth in the national economy and contribute to achieving a cumulative increase in the gross domestic product and growth market value in the banking sector. I would posit that they've already done it. It's already in place. It's done. It's so done. This new fancy banking system run on digital dinar is already in. What do you think? Comment down below. Please join us on this family. Last night, Mark Z said, looks like the IMF and the World Bank Group hold their annual meetings from October 13th to the 18th. They're meeting right now in DC. Could be positive for the RV. This could be very positive for the RV. So guys, all this is going on. Guys, you can't really believe everything you read right now. Militia Man, he's one of my favorites. He said one of these things they're probably not ever going to talk about is the exchange rate, dinar or anything like that, because it wouldn't be good for them to do it. There's a lot of reasons for that. I agree. And again, Sandy points out the election will happen on the 11th of November this year. Guys, I just think it's funny that there's a difference between the two articles I showed you. I wanted to address it. What do you think? Comment down below. If you like my channel, please subscribe and tap the bell, and I'll see you guys later. I might go live a little later. Talk to you later. Bye.